From east to west, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBacks, the PrimeTime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles. So, man, oh man, let's go ahead and jump into it fairly quickly as well too. We have ourselves some really good topics to discuss. And first topic that we will be discussing is going to be this. It's going to be Shakur Stevenson. Shakur makes big statement in a 135 debut, and the buzz for his next fight is already brewing. And his next fight, you already know that they want to automatically put this guy in a title fight because he deserves it, because he just beat up another person that he was supposed to beat up. I really truly feel like people have to stop, wanting their favorite boxer to jump the line. You're just not going to jump the line. It's not a sellable fight yet. Let's get that out of our heads. Let's make sure Devin Haney takes care of his business as well too. But really what you want is you want Devin Haney to lose. That's what you want. Because if Devin Haney loses, then you'll probably get Shakur versus Lomachenko. You'll probably get that situation. But if you get Haney beating Loma, then you'll probably get Devin Haney moving on to either 140 or him sticking around, but he's not going to fight Shakur right away. Shakur and Devin is a fight that, now everybody wants to say, oh, let it marinate, let it marinate. Didn't I used to tell you guys this a few years ago about letting fights with young guys marinate and things of that nature? Now everybody wants to say let it marinate when it's two guys that they don't want fighting each other. No, it's just that you have to have some patience. You guys always talk about, oh, we're supposed to fight prime for prime. What, they're supposed to fight when they're both 22 years old, trying to build a career, trying to build a fan base, trying to build things up? No, you don't. You don't do that. When they consider you a big horse in boxing, you don't go right after other big horses. You have to work yourself into the eyes of the crowd. And then once the crowd notices who you are, you step the competition up. You have yourself emphatic finishes. You have big moments happen. And then that's when you can move on and have your big fight, because you're worth the price of admission. You have to learn how to put butts in the seats. You have to learn how to be a great showman. There's a lot of things that you have to learn before you get these big fights. And I feel like if you keep throwing these big fights to these guys when they're not ready, then all what happens is that you have a guy that wasted his potential. And I don't want to see either one of these guys wasting their potential. They know how talented they are. These guys have sparred with each other before. And it's just that you guys have to have some patience, man. At the end of the day, they're going to fight each other. But there's so many great fighters at 135, and there's so many people that have the right to mandate their title shot as well too. You just can't come into a division and one fight in, you automatically the first one up for the next title shot. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And I know it worked like that in Shakur's other two divisions that he was in, because that's a featherweight division. Yeah, that makes sense. And 130, of course, literally, I keep trying to tell you guys, in these bridge divisions, you know how easy it is for a top fighter to get a title fight right away? All they got to do is go to the sanctioning body and mandate that they make the fight, because they're coming off of being a champion, say, in that sanctioning body in a weight class a little bit lower. And you can always jump the line because you asked for that opportunity as a champion. But I just think that sometimes people got to just hold back their excitement just a little bit. I understand that you guys really like these guys and you really feel like they're going to be great fighters and everything like that. But you have to let them build their legacies. And building their legacies is not throwing them on death row the moment that you see him knock somebody out. And yeah, he finally got himself a big emphatic moment, but the ref still stopped the fight as well too. He didn't knock the guy out. He just got the ref to stop the fight, but it was absolutely amazing. We can talk about that part real quick. Shakur is a absolute problem, and I would say that you got to stop saying that he doesn't have enough resume for the top 10. He has plenty of resume for the top 10 when it shows how he dominated literally everybody he's ever fought. And so pretty much with that type of aggression and that type of move, I will put him as my front runner for the fighter of the year. I know that it doesn't sound great right now, but I will put him as the front runner, as the fighter of the year, because I know that he's going to be very avoided this year, because after that performance right there, he literally can take on anybody right away. But I want to see him grow a little bit more so he can get himself in the position where when it's Shakur night like it was last Saturday, everybody's tuned in. And I think that he did have it was a anticipated bout. I had people that I didn't even know watch boxing that tough. My horse racing people, my football people, my baseball, they never talk about boxing. But Shakur was on and they was watching Shakur. So that means they're doing the right thing on ESPN. And I know that a lot of people just, they're not doing anything. Bro, these guys probably get the best coverage that anybody in boxing gets, because they have the worldwide sports leader that's backing them right now. So with that, that's going to be my 2 cents on Shakur this weekend. I expect to see some more big moments for this kid. And I look forward to it as well too. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic in hand. And our next topic in hand is going to be the NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs. We got ourselves the first 3 matchups are set. They're ready to go. The first 3 matchups are set up. Well, first 4 matchups, 2 on each side. Oh man, I really don't like this. I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. I really, 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 really don't like the fact that that we have to do this playing, especially with the way that you say like how Miami is already a few games ahead of all 3 of those teams. All 3 of those teams are actually kind of tied right now. So it makes a lot of sense in their situation. But it doesn't make a lot of sense for Miami to have to do all that. Same thing goes for the West side. The Lakers are 43 and 39. Everybody else, then they have 2 teams that are 42 and 20 behind them. And then a team that's 40 and 42. Really, shouldn't the teams that are 42 and 40 just battle it out? And the team that's 40 and 42, just take your ass home. Seriously. Like, the play-in is so dumb. You already added 7 games to the first round, which was absolutely retarded, in my opinion. You pardon my words with that as well, too. But that was absolutely stupid. I think that the first round should have always stayed 5 games, because it's like, okay, you're giving a team an extra game to lose when you know that they're going to get swept. If you saw last year's first round, how many game 7s did we get? One. All those series were over by the 5th game. Literally, each and every one of them were over by the 5th game. So what was the point of taking away the 3 out of 5? The 3 out of 5. I've always thought the 3 out of 5 gave all the teams a sense of urgency, in a sense. And it was only really something that factored in if you were the 3 seed, the 4 seed, the 5 seed, or the 6 seed. Those were the teams that always had the best matchups when it came to 3 out of 5. 1 through 8, 2 through 7, they're walking through teams. Even though there were upsets in that group as well, too, they were walking through teams at that time. So I feel like you're just adding too many games. You already play 82 games as is. Then you're going to add in a team has to play 2 more games to get in the playoffs. Say if you're the 9 and 10 seeds, you got to play 2 more games to get in the playoffs. And then if you lose, you got to play another game to get into the playoffs. So you already have a idea of having extra games before you go into the playoffs as is. And they're trying to feel like they're bringing more excitement, but they're not bringing more excitement. What they're doing is they're just cash grabbing on revenue because they're having a lot of issues internally in the NBA. The money is messed up. They're paying for a lot of things that don't have anything to really help pay for it. People still don't want to admit that the NBA has a attendance problem. They've already said it. There's only 10 teams in the league that are really profitable. 15 teams are really, in essence, are the only teams that really are able to keep the whole league going. But when you start looking at the situations that you have in places like, let's just go, for instance, I won't say Indiana. Indiana is a real big basketball state. So, you don't have a problem there. But you do have the problems in places like Detroit. Because Detroit is a place where, if you're not winning basketball games, they're not going to be coming. They're not showing up, dude. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Same thing goes for Cleveland. When they're not good, people aren't showing up, but they're good this year. So people are showing up. They got everybody who's just super in love with that team. Same thing goes for the Washington Wizards. Same thing goes for the Charlotte Hornets. It's just there's so many teams in the league that other teams have to hold up. So I truly do feel that the NBA is doing way too damn much right now. And I even tweeted out this morning that the NBA needs to cut ties with sports betting immediately. I say don't stop from being able to bet basketball. But my thing is this: get rid of them as a partner, a sponsor, whatever you want to call them. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't look good. You had the Mavericks the other night have themselves like a 15, 16-point lead. They blew the game, lost the game by 3. First thing that people said was point shaving. Then we had a player the other night who had an over-under of 9 points, I think, to score for the night. And he only scored about 4 or 5 points. And he had a very racist DM from a bettor who said that, I wonder what slave I'm going to have to pick on tonight. See, we're having a big problem here. And then we even had players say that I don't care about your damn parlay or your bet. So in the untold rules of sports betting and sports, you're not ever supposed to mention it. Pete Rose literally has been put to the stake and has been denied something that he's entitled to, the Baseball Hall of Fame, because of sports betting. And the NBA thinks that it's just okay to freely talk in a certain language to make everybody feel a little bit more comfortable with their product. No, truly, you can question, do you have players actually betting on themselves? Because you have too many states that have sports betting involved now. And then I'll give you a great example. Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. I was outside of the arena, and they have a FanDuel or DraftKings, one of them, sportsbook right outside of the arena. If that's not a conflict of interest, what is? This is not the racetrack. The racetrack is all based on money. It's all based on money. It's all about the money at the end of the day. The horses get a purse. The trainers get a purse. The jockey gets a purse. And the bettors get to bet any amount of money that they want to try to live a dream real quick. To try to pay the rent in 90 seconds. But all in all, they over there having a good time. And it's already been put out that, hey, this is a gambling place. If you ain't got no money, don't come here. The NBA has sold themselves as a family-orientated business that we're trying to entertain people. We're not worried about how much money you're going to make off the game. That's the idea that most of us have. Now it's almost like you got Jalen Rose up in here. Double down on your bet. Do this, do that. He's rich. He don't have to bet. He's just doing this because he's paid to do it by the sponsor, DraftKings. You cannot have sports books dictating exactly how your pregame, halftime, and your postgames are going to go. You just can't do that. And the NBA is in deep, deep trouble. So I'm talking like this because I hope that the playoffs find a way to really entertain all of us, and these players absolutely step it up because they have really lost the public support, in my opinion. There's a lot of people that I saw today on Twitter that the NBA is starting to get disgusting. It's starting to get stupid. It's starting to be something that I'm not very entertained with. And they had the same issue before they got Bird and Magic to come to the league as well, too. But when you look at college right now, you don't see any Bird or Magic. You don't. You don't see a Bird or Magic. You don't see a Michael Jordan. And then when you look down on the high school level, you don't see LeBron James. You don't see Kobe Bryant. What you see is you see a bunch of parents that are trying to live through their children. I saw a parent today who has a son on the Rockets that said that had a whole bunch to say about the head coach, and then was talking about you're affecting my son. I said, well, your son has had the opportunity to be an NBA player. He's not entitled to the NBA. And you cannot be talking about these coaches like it's some boys and girls club rec league. You know what I mean? It's just that, you know what? They had a plan. They had a situation, and they didn't want to win games. That's what the front office didn't want to do. But if your son and the rest of his teammates tag along with that idea, then they're a bunch of losers too. Yeah, I hate to say that, but hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. And they are owed absolutely nothing. The opportunity to play for the NBA in the NBA is absolutely golden. And if you're going to go out there every night and lose by 30 points and say, it's okay. It's okay. They told us to tank. Then you're a chump. I'm sorry. You're a chump. At least lose with honor. Lose with grace. You know what I mean? Just don't go be a bum to go be a bum. All you're doing is stealing money. None of the great. See, this is why we always talk about the 80s and 90s so much. Yeah, we had really bad teams, but those guys always tried. Yeah, they could get beat by 30 some nights because they wasn't shooting the ball well, but they always tried. They didn't just go out there, yeah, bro. I can't wait to get the Onyx after this. Yeah, bro, gang. I'm only gonna play when the rappers come out. Man, they come to the game once every few months. You got people that come to that game every night and watch y'all get absolutely destroyed. So you're really letting them down. The rap dude don't care. He just is happy that he got to take a picture with an NBA dude. And you saw how he was acting when I pulled up. It's absolutely stupid. And I think that the NBA needs to really check itself right now. And I think the NBA needs to say no to kids, and they need to say no to gambling. It's that simple. It's that simple. Or you'll just lose your league. We'll all be just watching pickup basketball, the street ball league in a few years. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. They got to fix it, and they got to fix it now. It's that simple. All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about the state. Let's go ahead and talk about a team that we all love. And, you know, I did go a little bit far on my rant, so I can't go into this too far, but we do have the state of the Lakers, and the Lakers are a brand new team. They got everything in place that they need to have. They got defense. They got some offense. They got great length. They got some good chemistry. They got 2 future Hall of Famers there. They got a very good young point guard here that actually is on his second act with the Lakers. And it's funny because the Lakers drafted this kid, and then he was a part of the Lakers rebuild movement. in a sense, where Julius Randle started the whole thing off. Really, Julius Randle, Jordan Clarkson. Then they were able to bring in D'Angelo Russell. Then they brought in Brandon Ingram. They also brought in Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Josh Hart. Those three. And then they got the final. Then that was like literally a 3-4 year run where Laker fans were really excited about the puppies, the kids. You know what I mean? So D'Angelo Russell was supposed to be a big part of that, but D'Angelo Russell ran into a little bit of an issue. You know, he was young, running his mouth. We were a bad team. Nick Young was on the team. Nick Young was dating a high-profile celebrity at the time. And, just silliness happened, and pretty much they blamed D'Angelo Russell for it. And D'Angelo Russell was sent out of town because they didn't want to have any issues with him and Lonzo Ball. I thought that was maybe the dumbest thing that you ever do. They should have kept D'Angelo, so then they could have moved him to the 2, and then you had Mr. Lonzo Ball at the 1. And this would have made for a great team because you got D'Angelo, Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and at the time you had Zubac as well too. Zubac, who plays for the Clippers, because Zubac was a second-round pick as well too. And Zubac came in the D'Angelo Russell draft. So the Lakers have literally had 10 players in the NBA that are all awesome players. So that shows that the Lakers front office knows exactly what they're doing. And if they would have kept these guys, they probably would be in the same shape that they are today, but even better. And I think that this team right here has came together quick enough to where it's like, hey, I like this group. This group is good. Mo Bamba's back. He's not 100% healthy, but that's good to have him back. The Lakers just signed Tristan Thompson and Shaq Harrison, two, pretty good players. You know that Tristan won a championship with LeBron back in 2016. So everybody's, they're going to talk about that a lot. And we all know he does. His off the court situation as well too. It links very closely to our former Laker legend Lamar Odom. So pretty much the Lakers are in a position right now to where they need to win, and they don't need to think about anything else but winning tomorrow night's game, and then everything else will fall into place. So let's just go ahead and say the Lakers do win tomorrow night. They would match up against Memphis, and that series would start Saturday, I think. Let me double check, but I think that series would start Saturday. Actually, that series, it looks like that series would start Saturday, or I think it would probably start Sunday, because the way that I'm looking at this right now, I think that they would love to start this Sunday, and they would love to have it be a ABC game as well too. But I think that they're kind of holding out hope that they do get that Lakers game. I think that I'm looking at it in a way to where I know that the Laker game is not going to be their late game. I'm looking at it in the sense, okay, they're looking at 4-5-3-6. They got 4-5-3-6 here. 3-6. So I would have put all the teams that are going to be in the playoffs already on Saturday. But they want to make sure they got these matches. But I'm thinking, okay, you got 2 Eastern Conference teams. So I would think that it's a 5:30 start for one of these games, and then it's a 3 o'clock start. So I'm looking at it like this. They're trying to do a 10 a.m. start and a 12:30 start. So I would say that it will probably be a 1 seed that plays in the middle slot. And I'm thinking to myself that they're probably going to be having that Denver game in that spot. I don't think they'll have the Lakers start Saturday. I think the Lakers are more of a Sunday game if they are able to clinch. So they're just pretty much saying that everybody who's trying to get in the playoffs this week is probably going to play on Sunday, because it looks like that you got to have a 1 seed play another. I think I've never not seen a 1 seed open up the first day of the playoffs. So you got a 4 and a 5, a 6 and 3, 6 and 3. So I'm thinking Denver gets the noon ABC game against whoever is going to be the 8th seed. And I'm banking on the Pelicans to be the 8th seed this year as well too. All right, so we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it checks out. Dodgers let's go ahead and talk about the state of the Dodgers real quick. The Dodgers are in a pretty weird position right now. But like I said, I expected a slow month. The Dodgers are actually 5-5 right now. They went from being first place when they got to they went from being the first place team in the West when they got to Arizona this weekend to being the third place team now. But if the playoffs were to start today, the Dodgers would still be in the playoffs. So that's something that's pretty good right there. They would have to play Arizona, though. Arizona is the top dog in the is actually the top dog in the National League West. And they hold a winning record over the Dodgers for the first time in some time as well, too. They played the Dodgers 8 times this year, and they're actually 5-3 right now. That's pretty good. So, they got a pretty good record against the Dodgers right now. The Dodgers, and it's crazy. The Dodgers have only lost to one team, and that's Arizona. So the Dodgers going to tonight playing against San Francisco, who's 4-5. San Francisco had a pretty rough weekend, dropping 2 out of 3 to the Kansas City Royals, who were very bad coming into that game yesterday, but they figured out a way to win that series over the weekend. They got a nice late home runs from Perez. Perez was really good on Friday, and he was really good on Saturday. And yesterday, they took care of their business. But all in all, they're kind of middling right now. In the month of April, they're 3-4. They did have a very slow start against the Yankees. They wound up losing 3 out of 4 of those games against the Yankees that weekend. Actually, 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. And then they came back around, won 2 out of 3 against Chicago, lost 2 out of 3 in this series right here. So now they get to play against somebody that's actually a National League team. They played against 3 American League teams coming into this one. So I truly do think that they're going to be ready for whatever tonight. The Dodgers throw out Julio Urias on the mound as well, too. He's 1-0 this season. He's actually 2-0 this season. Let me take that back. And he's been pitching very good, and he's been playing very good baseball as well, too, this year. I think that he's going to be able to give the Dodgers the head start that they need and having great pitching today. But the Dodgers do need to go ahead and be thorough about their runs, and they really do need to hold it down. The Dodgers gave up double-digit runs the last 2 days. The Dodgers didn't even give up 10 runs. Damn near didn't even give up 10 runs the first 5-6 games of the season. These last 4, atrocious. The Dodgers gave up I think they only gave up 1 opening night. They gave 6 the next night. Then they gave up 12, and then they gave up 11 yesterday. So the Dodgers have to really buckle down, and they're going to have to get much better. The bullpen's getting absolutely shellacked, and I just think that they got a little cute. So the Dodgers won 3 in a row, then they lose 3 in a row. So we really do need to get this team in some order right now. Opening weekend, they went 2-2. Last week, they go 2-4. 2-3. They go 3-4 last week. They played literally all week, and that's what happened. They wind up going 3-4 last week. They went 3-3 last week. Let me take that back. So, in the 6 games they played last week, they're 3-3. Last weekend they went 2-2. So the Dodgers are playing very even baseball, but it's the right time of the year to do that. So all in all, I'm not worried about too much when it comes down to the Dodgers. So tonight, it should be a really good game. I look forward to it. And if I say any bet that you should take in this game tonight, I would say that the best bet in this game tonight would probably play the 1.5 on the Dodgers because they really want to get this game in tonight. But we know it's the rival as well too. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some goodies home, because I'm just giving you this bet because Urias has been in games where the Dodgers have won by 2 or more runs in each one, and they've been blowouts as well too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to get into the MLB Monday Night, and then we will talk those tickets. So stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Bob DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you in on the thrill of horse racing. With daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash. And move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange. All right, here we are. We are back with the PrimeTime Angles. So let's go ahead and jump into our MLB Monday Night. MLB Monday Night, we got 14 games tonight. We got a few interleague games tonight. Well, I think we got 2 interleague games tonight. I think we got 2. We got I know that we got Mariners, Cubs, and I know that we got Nationals, Rockies for the weekend for this week. And peep game. Actually, a lot of these series, except for one, are all going to be 3-game series this week. And then everybody plays a 4-gamer this weekend. So there's not going to be any days where they have a day off this week. Last week they did days off, but this week is not going to be any days off. But we do need to still factor in that there will be possible rain delays and possible postponements because of rain as well too. Let's go ahead, jump into our first game that I have in the group. It's going to be a good old rivalry. This is the Indians and the Yankees go back just as far as them and the Red Sox. Everybody has to remember the Indians were a East team for a long time as well too. When they only had 2 divisions, West and East, the Indians were a part of the East, so they were always playing a lot of games against the Yankees. And then in the 90s, the Yankees and Indians kind of rekindled that rivalry a little bit because they would always somewhat be the best teams in the American League. So watching them throughout the years and the great games that the Yankees and the Guardians have had, and at the time they were the Indians, but all the great games that New York and Cleveland has had over the years, and including playoff series, it's just a very good, underrated rivalry. And I just always love when it's Yankees, Guardians / Indians. So pretty much because you got to know that the rivalry is kind of sweet in a way because Steinbrenner's a Cleveland guy. He's a Cleveland kid, you know what I mean? And he wanted to buy the Browns. He wanted to buy the Indians. They wouldn't let him do it. But they let him buy the New York Yankees because they didn't think that he would own the Yankees long enough. They thought that, okay, let the goofball buy the Yankees and he'll sell them in a few years, whatever. He wound up becoming the Yankees' greatest owner ever. He's probably the only Yankee owner that was bigger than the team. Period, point blank. You know what I mean? And he's probably the only, there's only probably 5 owners that you can name that were probably bigger than the team. And I'll give you 3 of them right now. Steinbrenner, Jerry Buss, Al Davis. Simple. Because when they passed, it's almost like the team went out of business. You know what I mean? That's how sad people were for those guys' passings. Now, Yankees have Domingo German coming out there tonight. German making his second appearance of the season. His first start did not go too well. He got a little roughed up, gave up 4 runs, also gave up 4 hits, but he did strike out 8. So that's something to hang your hat on. Then you got Shane Bieber, former Cy Young. He's making his 3rd appearance of the season, 2.25 ERA. He already has 10 strikeouts on the year, but he's given up 9 hits and he's given up 3 runs. But he's played 2 games as well, too. So his average is pretty good. He's looking to go ahead and get his it looks like he's looking to get his first win of the season as well, too. Because in those 2 games, one was against Oakland, one was against Seattle. Those games wound up to where he wasn't a part of the decision because those games were settled late. So pretty much with this one right here, I do like the fact that both these teams have 2 of their better pitchers going tonight. And I think what happens here, it's a Monday night. It's going to be a game that really winds up going back and forth, but not in a sense to where we're scoring a lot of runs. I think what happens is we get a lightweight pitchers duel here, and I like the under 7.5 here. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our next game, which is going to be the A's and the Orioles. These are two teams that they feel are designated for last place in their divisions. But one of these teams is a team that I got going to the playoffs this year. Another team that I have here, I don't even have them winning more than 55 games this season. The Oakland A's have already proven my point that they're absolutely atrocious, but they have pretty much, let's keep it real, the A's probably have had the toughest schedule to start the season off. They lined it up with the Angels to start the season off, and they won that game. And Shotani was on the mound that day as well, too, as the starting pitcher. So they wound up losing that series, and after they won that game 2-1, I think, yeah, it was 2-1, they wound up being outscored by the Angels 19-1 after that. Then they went to Cleveland and got absolutely wrecked and wound up giving up 12 runs in that next game. So over a 3-day span, they gave up 31 runs. But then they simmered it down a little bit, got themselves a good little win over the Indians, but then went on to lose the next 4 in a row. And they got absolutely embarrassed by Tampa Bay this weekend. And I say that they got the toughest schedule because the Angels are a team that I got possibly making the playoffs. The Guardians are seen as a team that should win the Central this year, and Tampa Bay is the best team in the first 2 weeks of baseball. They're 9-0 right now. And to top it off, they absolutely destroyed these guys. Once again, the A's gave up another 31 runs over a 3-game base and only scored 5. So this team is getting absolutely worked in that scenario. The Orioles, on the other hand, the Orioles, honestly, looking at their record, the Orioles know that they could be a lot better than 4-5 right now. They're 3-5 for this month, but let's keep it real. They started off the year pretty good, in my opinion. They literally were out of way from being actually 5-4 because they lost to Boston 2 out of 3, but Boston beat them on a final at bat. Then they come back, won 2 out of 3 against the Rangers, and then they just ran into some real problems with the Yankees. That's all. The Yankees had a great game against them yesterday. They tried. They had a little late rally there in the 8th inning, but they weren't able to get that done. I think today they get a little bit of some pressure taken off of them, and then they got one of their better pitchers on the mound today in Kyle Gibson. Kyle Gibson has a 7.20 ERA to start the year, but Kyle Gibson is an inning eater as well too, and he does have a win on the season. He had it tough against Boston, but he bounced back very well against Texas. The guy's 2-0 on the season right now, so you can trust him. He's seen as the de facto ace right now as well too for this team. So I really do believe in this guy being, up to par. And he's coming back off of a injury-plagued season from 2022. This is a bounce-back year for Gibson, and I think Gibson pitch is absolutely remarkable today. J.P. Sears, a guy that did decent against Cleveland on his debut this year, and he had 5 strikeouts in the game, but he did give up 3 runs as well too. So he comes back over to Oakland after being with the Yankees for a year. And he's looking to try to, get through, at least another 5 innings or so. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I like the Orioles to absolutely wreck today. I think the Orioles are going to have a day where they have to make it up to their fans from losing that early series, this early season series to the Yankees. You know what I mean? Because I think the Baltimore fans had a lot of excitement going into last weekend with the way that the team played going into their opener. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into NL East matchup, which is going to be between the Marlins and the Phillies. The Marlins have Sandy Alcantara on the mound today, the reigning Cy Young winner. And then you have Also on the mound for the Phillies today, you have Matt Strahm, and Matt Strahm actually pitched lights out in his last game. Sandy pitched lights out in his last game as well too. Sandy opening day was they wound up actually he got a little hit that day. Had 4 walks, gave up 3 runs, only struck out 2. Came back around, shut out the Twins, who were absolutely balling when they came into that game. He shut them out straight up. Only gave up 3 hits, 5 Ks, 1 walk. So Sandy was able to bounce back big time in that game. Now with Strahm played against Texas opening in the opener, but he only pitched the inning. So this guy is more of a spot starter. So when he comes into the game, literally he just eats up innings, and then it's going to be a bullpen day. But he pitched very well against the Yankees last week. He struck out 3, only gave up a hit, and only walked 1. So tonight they're just asking him to keep things civil until the bullpen gets there, because this is the type of game where they can absolutely get worked if they don't play it the right way. So with this, I truly do feel like this game winds up being a very, very fun game. And I think what happens here tonight, the Marlins know that their best opportunity to win is when they got Sandy on the mound. They did win yesterday. If you're going to catch the Phillies at a bad time, the time is now, because this team is struggling. Even though they had a great comeback win on Saturday that I saw, we all know, because everybody named Mama had the Reds, including myself and my clients, and the Reds gave up 3 runs there in the late inning. So, Philly still does have the comeback gene to them, but it's up to them to really go into this game and do that, because they're going against one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. So I like the Marlins minus 130 tonight. I think that they get themselves a good close win here, because they really can't let down their best pitcher. That's my whole reasoning. All right, so let's move forward. Let's get into this AL East matchup between the Red Sox and the Rays. As I said before, the Rays come into this game 9-0. And then you have a Red Sox team that's really gotten their act together as well too. The Red Sox struggled to me to start the season because they did win the 2 out of 3 against Baltimore, but then they wound up losing 3 in a row to Pittsburgh. They got swept at Fenway, but they came back last weekend, wound up beating Detroit all 3 games. They actually had 4 games against Detroit, I think, and one of them got canceled. So they're going to make that up a little bit later on in the season from what I'm seeing here. Or I think that they possibly had another one of those days off that teams were having, because they were giving teams days off last Friday as well too. But they swept Detroit this week, and kind of surprising, because Detroit had a really good effort against the Astros on the road. And, it was opening weekend as well, too, for Detroit at home. So they really did have their way with Detroit. They wound up scoring 24 runs this weekend and only giving up 9. So would you like to say that they're kind of hot right now? You know what I mean? So winning that 3 in a row, it boosts the confidence with me coming into this game tonight. We have Pivetta pitching as well too. Pivetta already lost the game on the season, but that's because it was against Pittsburgh. He got no run support that day as well too. So hopefully he can bounce back today and get these guys right where he wants them at, because he gave up 3 walks but he struck out 6, and he only gave up 1 earned run, but 3 runs scored on him. But I think Pivetta is ready to really lock it in and have himself a really good season this year. And I think that the Rays could be in a little bit of trouble here, even though Jalen Beeks, a guy that is just more of a spot starter. So this is on the bullpen tonight. So this is probably the best night to really, really go in on the Red Sox. And I'm going in on the Red Sox simply for the fact that I have them as my dog of the day at plus 130. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the bet us MLB dog bet of the day will be the Red Sox at plus 130. All right, we move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about the Padres and the Mets. This was a playoff matchup last season that the Padres did win. Ruined the 100-win season of the Mets. The Mets hadn't played like that probably since 1986 and wound up losing. So now they got Max Scherzer on the mound going against Yu Darvish. This is probably the best pitching matchup of the day when it comes down to veteran pitchers who have that street credibility. So you know that we have to talk about this game. Yu Darvish is still winless on the season, but he hasn't lost a game either. Last time out, pitched against Arizona. Arizona actually wound up losing that. Arizona wound up winning that game that day. Yu Darvish was not the problem. Yu Darvish only gave up a run, and he only pitched 5 innings that day. What happened was that the bullpen couldn't help him out, and that's how they lost that game. Now, he did walk 4 that day, so that's something that you got to look at if you're a Padres fan. Max Scherzer, he's been getting absolutely cooked. He gave up 3 runs opening day in a loss, and well, actually, they won that game. Let me take that back. They won that game, and then they came back around against Milwaukee, and he got absolutely cooked. And they lost that game. So he's 1-1 on the season. He had 6 strikeouts on opening day. He had 2 strikeouts in their last game. So it's his first home game this year. And so, Max always impresses in front of the home crowd as well, too. But that doesn't give me any inkling to say that this team is going to be a trustworthy team tonight. I feel like what happens here tonight, we got Max giving up runs a little bit this year. Yu Darvish is always a candidate to give up some runs against really good teams. So I like the over 7.5 in this spot. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right. We have ourselves 6-4, 6-4. Both teams are coming in with pretty good records. I got to make sure I show the right graphic, the right stats. But both these teams are 6-4, 6-4. And as I said, I'm taking the over 7.5. But this is a really good matchup tonight in Queens, baby, at Citi Field. All right, and here goes our interleague matchup for tonight. This is going to be between the Mariners and the Cubbies. The Mariners have gotten better. The Mariners started off the season pretty bad. Indians beat them first 2 out of 3. Then they went off and lost another. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels as well too. But then they bounced back and got 2 out of 3 against the Indians, the Guardians on the get back last weekend. Now they play the Cubs for the few days, and then they actually get a day off on Thursday, and then they got Colorado to end the weekend. So the Mariners' schedule actually eases up a little bit. They're 4-6 right now, but as I said before, they lost 3 in a row, but now they won their last 3 out of 5. So this team is actually getting into the groove that they need to at this point. And coming to Chicago is really a very, very on time moment for them. But Chicago's still a tough team. You got Luis Castillo, still one of the better pitchers in baseball. He's 1-0 on the season. He's averaging 6 strikeouts a game. He got 6 strikeouts in both of the games as well too. He went 6 innings game against Cleveland. It wasn't opening day. It was the second day of the season, and then against the Angels, he went 5.5. So pretty much, this guy is looking to get his second win of the season. And probably dominant form as well, too, because he's pitching very good to start the season off. Now, Drew Smyly struggling a little bit. They played Cincinnati last week, and he wound up giving up 7 runs on 9 hits, 2 walks, and he only struck out 3 and gave 6 earned runs. So he is kind of going through the motions a little bit, and we all do know that he's been bounced around the MLB for a few years now, but he's been able to stick with the Cubs here for more than a season, because I'm looking at his numbers, his grouping now. This guy has been a lot of places. So pretty much Smiley's trying to get himself his first win of the season and bounce back from that really bad game that he had last week. But all in all, I think that the game stays close, and I think the Mariners will be a drastic overbet. So I like the Cubs with the plus 1.5. They don't, I'm not saying they win, but I'm saying that the Cubs keep it close. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move from there. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into my favorite topic, your favorite topic, and that's going to be talking tickets. And up first, we got the MLB PrimeTime PK6. And in the MLB PrimeTime PK6, we have ourselves a 52-1 ticket. We have the under 7.5 with the Yankees and the Guardians. We have the minus 1.5 with the Orioles. We have the Red Sox money line plus 130. We also have the Marlins money line minus 130. And then we have the over 7.5 with the Padres and the Mets. And then we finish up with the plus 1.5 on the Cubs, which is going to be minus 125. And the Orioles are going to be actually plus 110 with their minus 1.5. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's a 52-1 ticket right there. And that ticket will yield you 1040 if you do go ahead and put the 20 on it. So that means you can make a rack off this bet, off this ticket if you want to. All right. And then we have the 10-1 ticket. You can make a rack off this one too, but you got to give up $100. And this one right here, we got the Royals plus 1.5. We also have the Cardinals under 11.5 with the Cardinals and the Rockies today. We got the over 10 with the Nats and the Angels. That's a sneaky under the radar game if you need another dog possibly tonight. Nats, I know it's Pat Corbin Day, but who cares? Usually when they have a day designated for a certain pitcher, that could be a day that we come up big time. So I got the over 10 here with the Nats and the Angels, but I'm taking that bet. And then I got the Dodgers to end the night here in San Francisco with the win with the minus 150. We did hit the late pick 4 yesterday at 14-1 as well too. So don't sleep on those tickets, and pretty much always know that these tickets are for the public. They are for you. You guys are always saying, "Oh man, what a great hip hop." I don't do these tickets for myself. If I did the tickets for myself, I wouldn't share them with you. So when you're winning on these tickets, please let me know so I can give you a shout out. You know what I mean? Because people win on a lot of my tickets, but they don't tell me until a month later. So if you want on this ticket or any of my latest tickets or anything like that, let me know. I'll shout you out on the air. But all in all, I want to thank you guys very much for tuning into today's show. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm also doing Jeff's show as well, too, doing a little double duty, doing the Jeff midday morning report show, talking some East and West, Lakers, Dodgers, all that good stuff. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. Then I'll be back to you guys tomorrow about 12 or 1 o'clock. I'll confirm the set time on the Twitter tomorrow. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. I'm going to have a lot of baseball to talk about. We're going to be talking about the playing games for Tuesday night as well, too. Also going to be talking a little NBA draft as well. I'm not NBA draft, but a little NFL draft as well. And then I think that I have some boxing for you as well, too, tomorrow. I think that we do have some I'm trying to figure out, do we have a big fight coming up this weekend? But I'll figure something out. You know what I mean? So pretty much with that, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper. And you guys can watch this show on my Twitter. You guys can watch it on the IG at DBICWave_. You can also watch this show on my Facebook page, which is Jamil Brown. And then you can also watch this show on my YouTube page, Prime Wave Media, and you can catch all my exclusive interviews and all that good stuff on that same YouTube channel. Or you guys can put in Pop DBIC Fanatics View, and you guys can see all my Super Bowl and all my a lot of my other interviews as well too. So you guys can know that you're dealing with one of the best. So with that, I thank you guys so much. And once again, this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And I am Go!
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.